Now, this is something that I don't say lightly, but Iron Banner has lost all of its previously held aura in the Destiny ecosystem. Now, just for a little bit of context here, the last Iron Banner that we had was June 17th of the year of our Lord 2025, and it ran until June 24th. Now, if my math is mathing correctly, that was 3 entire months during 2025 where there was no Iron Banner. Now, in my humble opinion, I think that that would be more than enough time to give a quick little refresh to the playlist, maybe add some more loot, as opposed to getting, our 3 to 4 Iron Banners a season, depending on how long they last in terms of calendar months. We're going to be getting one big Iron Banner when it eventually comes back 3 months later. But somewhere along the line, a decision was made, and we're now stuck with an event that is treated with the same level of seriousness as something like Heavy Metal or Arms Week. It's just something that was stuck into the event page. I'm not going to say that I don't appreciate having the events rewards pass. It does, make earning gear a tiny bit more streamlined, guaranteed way to get haul foils, daily and weekly challenges that you can roll through for gear. But with that all being said, I definitely expected more, considering that it has been 3 entire months missing from the game. That is the longest stretch Destiny has ever went without having a single Iron Banner, if you do not count the post Rise of Iron stopping support. Like, they just didn't support the event anymore. This is the longest we've gone without an Iron Banner. And what Bungie came back with was one new weapon, 2 conversions of old weapons into the new tiering system, and one of the larger controversies that we've seen in quite a while. I know Destiny's stacked with controversies nowadays, but the whole armor set, Iron Banner armor set being thrown into the Eververse instead of actually, being given to Iron Banner, and the Iron Banner was originally just a reskin of a old Year 2 or Year 3 armor set. I can't exactly remember which year it came from, but, it was significant at the time, and yes, bullying worked. Bungie was able to, quote-unquote, fix it. I say fix it, they were able to build momentum, the studio's exploding from all that pent-up momentum there. Now, before I get myself too off topic talking about momentum, this is 100% definitively has to be the most disappointing Iron Banner cycle that I have seen during my entire time playing this game, In terms of the longest wait that we ever had for an Iron Banner, the least loot that we've ever been able to obtain, I say least new loot we've ever been able to. I gotta stop drinking. The least new loot that we have ever been able to obtain in a single Iron Banner cycle. It leaves me deeply disappointed with how the event actually went. And now, when you put it into context within the greater Destiny ecosystem at the moment, we've released a season which is basically nostalgia bait to Rise of Iron, Ash and Iron, and one of the biggest, most beloved portions of the Rise of Iron DLC was the offering that the Iron Banner from Year 2 of Destiny 1 provided. Those were some of the best endgame weapons in the entire game. They were able to earn through gameplay via the Iron Banner, and for me to sit here and say that I expected more, I really did. I genuinely expected more out of them. I thought that Studio Head would at least understand how much Rise of Iron meant to some people, despite their Siva erasure, cough cough DMG, it's never coming back. But this just leads me to believe even more so that PvP as a method of enjoying Destiny 2 has just been abandoned. Like many things developers have done in recent history, this is simply disrespectful to anybody who enjoys the actual game mode. I expected at least some greater level of effort, some attention to detail, basically throw a bone to the PvP players, give us something to actually chase for in this god-forsaken game mode, in this god-forsaken meta. I'm not even going to talk about how I feel about the current meta. We are settling for Graviton Spike finally getting a nerf next week. The only thing they're nerfing is just Stasis Overcharge is no longer be able to one-shot. The actual fundamentals of the gun are not changing. The RPM is not changing. The stats aren't changing. This isn't a video to complain about Graviton Spike. This is a video to complain about Iron Banner. And just so I'm not a Debbie Downer, just so I actually provide some what the kids call constructive criticism, I am going to make the following suggestions on how I would improve improve Iron Banner, or at least improve Crucible as a whole. For starters, now, I don't know if this is possible, but PvP needs its own dedicated sandbox where weapons can be balanced. I know it sounds ridiculous to say that we are in year 11 of these developers making this game, and to our knowledge, there still is no dedicated sandbox, and any changes that they make to the weapons inside of PvP are affected, are affecting the PvE portion of the game, and that's why they are hesitant to touch a lot of weapons. You know, see Graviton Spike, for example. We saw in the past things like One-Eyed Mask. We saw even further in the past, you know, certain pulse rifles not being changed. All of these things deeply impact the entire game environment, and if Crucible doesn't have its own unique sandbox where they're able to make dedicated balance changes live, I'm not talking about, oh, wait for the next Sony or Microsoft verified title update live. I'm talking like, oh, we know something is broken, we can see a new glitch that exists in the game. Instead of disabling the weapon, we're going to identify, fix, and then fix it within the next 48 hours. So at least, you know, that really is a pipe dream. That is the non-game developer inside of me saying, oh, just create a new sandbox so you can uniquely balance Crucible, so you can balance Iron Banner, and then Bob's your uncle, everything will be perfectly fine. The second thing that I would do is guarantee 6 new weapons per unique PvP game mode. I know, sounds crazy, right? Yeah, 6 new weapons. The weapon team certainly is going to need to work a little bit harder here, but I think that if, you know, we're taking Crucible seriously still, we need to look at how we used to do content delivery, right? 6 new weapons. I genuinely think that this isn't something so unreasonable, considering that the vast majority of weapons that exist in the game nowadays are just simply reskins of what came before, right? It wasn't until Edge of Fate that we were, you know, getting new weapon models. Essentially, no new weapon models for entire calendar year. That was Final Shape. Now we're getting a couple new ones during Edge of Fate, but even if they're just simple reskins, having 6 new weapons keeps everything fresh. I'm not talking like, oh, you know, update the loot pools. I mean, literally 6 new weapons. Exercise some creativity. Give us 6 new for Trials of Osiris. Give us 6 new for Iron Banner. You can distribute them how you want, whether that be 3, during the first launch, or 3 during the second launch, or just simply, you know, as I would think should be possible, 6 during Edge of Fate rather, and 6 during Renegades. But once again, that is a non-game developer inside of me. I literally do not know how much time, effort, you know, I do not know how much manpower it takes to make these things work. And, you know, it all boils down to the fact that, you know, this game is already oversaturated with too much stuff. Everybody's already using the things that they've been using for 10 years now. Everybody's comfortable with what they want to use, and adding new stuff, unless it is ridiculously broken at launch, like Redrix, like the new Redrix we got a little while ago. It really isn't helping anybody, right, to be adding all these new weapons. The third thing I would do is just create some new game modes and then force people to play them, right? You know, I know there's was some kickback to Iron Banner whenever it was only a mono game type, whenever it was a mono match type game mode. You know, people were forced to play Eruption. They hated it. People were forced to play whatever it was called, Control. They hated it. People were forced to play, I don't even remember what it's called, the one where you pick up the crests. They hated it. There is no balance, but Crucible hasn't received a new game mode besides Heavy Metal in several years now, so I would just add a new game mode. I know, you know, hey, get creative, steal something from Call of Duty. Just steal something from Call of Duty. You got to get some aura back. Just steal something from Call of Duty. Besides that, the question of how to fix Iron Banner, how to have Iron Banner regain its aura, I mean, for me, at least, it is as simple as trying something new and rewarding the player's time with gear that isn't just shitty reskins, and actually anticipate that people are going to play these game modes and add more than one new weapon. Seriously, I think it is absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to focus on it. Having one new weapon to be added during this Iron Banner at the same time as everything is available to be focused, I think it is just genuinely embarrassing, and it shows a lack of creativity. So, besides that, I hope each and every single one of you has a great day. Thank you for watching, and take care now.